Hey, there we go.
Hey, here's just some salsa.
How's it going, Kayleen? Good to see you.
Good. How about you?
Good.
It's good to see you guys.
Just making sure I'm not, an ever-living mess here.
No, you look good. You're fantastic, Jackie.
Yeah, Clint should be with us here in just a few moments. Welcome, everyone. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, our mom made steak fingers for dinner.
Ooh, yummy.
Yeah, it was really pretty tasty. So very enjoyable all the way around. There we go.
I got one, Mom. Thank you, though.
So for those of you guys that are joining us, let me go ahead and get these things out of the way while Clint's jumping in here. Hey, brother. You're on.
When he did that, made your hands look huge because you went like way up close to the camera. Like freaked me out. It's like, oh my gosh.
Anybody want a peanut?
Yeah.
No more rhymes. I mean it.
No, yeah, exactly. So,
well, let me go ahead and get this out of the way. Welcome, everyone. It's Karmic transmission number, I think we're on 22. Yeah, that's right, number 22. Man, these keep going faster. For those of you that are joining us, we're streaming live on Zoom right now is where we're at. You can find us at the Karmic feed on Twitter or at Ayame X Goddess. She does a lot of our social media. You can find us on Facebook at Karma Incarnate, as well as on YouTube at Karma Incarnate. As always, any one of our agents here, find them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you want to find these guys. And if you're interested in joining and changing the world, we're always looking for new people. So trying to add something in here. With us tonight, guys, we've got Kevin Steele is our kind of special guest. He's one of our community impact agents. Along with us today, though, we've also got Rex filling in for Ayame. I'll just go ahead and say she caught the COVID, guys. Ayame caught it, and she's on recovery. So she says that she's feeling a little bit better today. She's kind of swinging out of it, but she wasn't feeling up for joining us. So
yeah.
Hope she gets feeling better soon.
Yes, we all wish her a very swift recovery. So
Yeah.
But well, Kevin, I'm glad you could join us. So thanks for jumping in. I miss your wall of pop heads though. It looks like you've moved a little bit.
Yeah, they're over there.
Yeah.
They're there.
Yep.
It seemed so much closer last time, like looming over you all.
Yeah. I think I was actually sitting over at that table with them, like right back here.
Yeah, domineering over. Just so.
They were gonna fall over. All it needed is a little more earthquake here.
Right. Luckily, we haven't had one of those yet.
They just had a big one over in Japan.
They did.
Like, yeah, in the 7 magnitude range. So, yeah, that's no good.
No.
Not at all.
I was in an earthquake in Japan once with my mom and my aunt, and this was clear back in like 2004, and it was the craziest thing in the world because we're in downtown Tokyo. We're up in this hotel room on like the 15th floor, and I'm sitting on the bed. My mom and my aunt are walking around, and Miss Moses, our Japanese like tutor, was there with us, and all of a sudden the building just starts swaying back and forth like this. And my aunt loses her mind. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna? And I'm like, I don't know. Pray. We're on the 14th floor. Like what? It just sat there and rocked us. Then we get up, and it stops, and everything's okay. And we go downstairs, and we get in a taxi cab. And my aunt says to the guy, "Did you feel that earthquake?" And the guy was like, "That happens all the time. That was a little one. That's nothing." And we were just dying, but that was pretty crazy because what do you do when you're 14 stories up? You just hang on. It's like a bucking bronco. If you try to get out, you're worse off than you were just riding it. So, but that's a Japan earthquake story. Anyway, so
Good one.
yeah.
I can just see Aunt Sue going nuts. Like I can just see her losing her mind. Long hair flowing.
Yeah. Stand looking for a doorway. It's like, okay,
Stand in that doorway, even if you are 14 stories up. Every little piece of structural.
Yeah, it's like we got bigger problems to worry about. So, but you know, they make those buildings to do it, and it's pretty amazing how strong and, you know, they look just rigid, but they have that flexibility. And that's what's great about engineering and creating things, period, is if you build it to have flexibility, then it can, you know, it can move with the way the wind blows and try to make changes and do some stuff to survive the big storm. But it was just weird. So anyway, but yeah, how are you guys doing? How are you, Clint?
Doing good. Just hanging out here.
You look good. Your beard is getting bigger and bigger all the time.
Yeah.
And it looks
Well,
fantastic.
I'm getting lazier and lazier all the time. So
see, that's why mine's been this way for years. It's just the secret. So
that's how these things start. Is it starts as just I'm not going to deal with it, and then here you are 10 years later, right, Rex?
Yeah, there you go. So.
goatee's looking good. How you doing, Kevin?
Doing good. It's I don't know. I've had moments where it's just like this whole last year, it's been grow it out, cut it back, grow it out, cut it back. I don't know. I think for me, there's an in between. If I let it get long enough, it stops bugging me. If I get there, but I can almost never get past the in between where it itches and it drives me crazy and it gets in the way. And
yeah.
That's
where they
stage.
cut it off. So.
Yeah.
But it looks good, man. It looks really good.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
I could probably trim up again if I wanted to, but for now it works.
So how's everybody in the family doing, Kevin? All the kids, are they doing any kind of schooling at all, or is it all from home?
The two youngest are doing school from home.
Yeah.
As focused as they can be.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I know our middle kid would prefer to be in a brick and mortar school. I think he feels like he learns better that way. He can focus on the task at hand when he's just, and it's not so much that he's left his own devices, because Kayleen spends a lot of her days trying to,
help
make sure that they're on task.
Yeah.
Right. But for him, it's easy to get distracted, especially in a digital age for digital kids.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did I tell you what he did today?
No.
I don't know if they can hear me. I'll come over. So what he did today is he came to me and he stole one of the dogs and he says, I need her on my lap because she helps me focus. I'm like, all right, that'll work. Yeah.
If it really does, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And actually, I believe it.
Yeah.
He's got, it's like, because with his ADHD is very much having a little distraction allows him to focus.
Yeah, if he's chewing on something or he has like a fidget toy, and right now she's a massive football. Here, I'll pick her up. Right now she's so fluffy. You can't even see her next to my shirt. You're going. So she's so fluffy, and so yeah, just petting her and playing her with your ears and whatever. So,
yeah, something to kind of keep part of it occupied while they're working.
Yeah, I'll let you guys keep chatting. See you.
There you go, Donald. But yeah, it's just been getting through that. And with Jared, she's just doing her own thing right now. Everybody's here in the same house.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have enough space that we haven't gone crazy.
Yeah.
And everybody can have their own space. So
it's needed. That's needed in these times. So it's good though that everybody's there, and you can still keep an eye on everybody. And that distraction stuff, it's interesting because that work from home, I run into the same problem. If I can go into the office, my productivity goes up, because being in my own home and having all of my creature comforts, it's easy for me to be like, yeah, I'm doing an email, but I could actually be doing, it's a weird focus thing that happens. So I totally get it,
For me, it's been a bit of a toss-up because, and I've actually found working in the area that I have, that when we sent people home, overall productivity actually increased. And there's still some mental health balances that we kind of have to play out, make sure that people take time to themselves, take breaks in the middle of the day, that they're getting lunch, taking lunch. And don't get me wrong, I always understood the idea of, well, if I skip this and skip that and skip that, then I can finish my day sooner. But the reality is to do that over a long term in any sense is not healthy. And so as a manager, I have to remember that and encourage people. Okay, well, I've been noticing, please do this. And it isn't about micromanaging people. It's about making sure that they take a break for themselves. Because yeah.
It's real easy to just burn it on both ends and go crazy, you know, when you can. And then once you burn out, it's a hard thing to get burning again. So
when you're burnt, you're burnt.
Yeah. So it's you know, it's wise to take time and think about what you're doing and slow down, take some breaks, because, you know, the world's going to keep turning, and whether we want it to or not, it's going to keep moving. So you just got to move with it.
And I realize that I'm saying this on a published forum, but I realized at one point after coming home to work that I have a nickname at work, and it's my own given nickname. And it's not that anybody ever calls me this, but my nickname at work is "Hey, can you?"
Hey, can you?
Because somebody will come to my door and be like, "Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? Hey, can you? Hey, can you? Hey." And by working at home, there is a digital barrier that people aren't willing to cross. Not necessarily for some people.
I can see that, yeah.
But it has allowed me to focus on some of my projects better. It does. I do have to also catch myself. Okay, am I distracting myself with this or that? But I don't have the anonymous walk up, because people are less likely to just video call me and be like, "Hey, so I was wondering if you could ...
Mm-hmm.
Again, that doesn't stop everybody, but it is. I think that's one thing that helped with me being able to get some things done. But yeah, it's just been
different.
Great. Different. Different's good. Different's good.
Well, and it's interesting. I like the fact that you mentioned that they have to take a break for themselves. There's a very different thing taking a break for yourself as opposed to taking your designated 15-minute work break. You know what I mean? There's an actual mental shift that goes into who you're taking the break for and what you're focusing on.
Yep.
And that shift in attention, I think, is really big and important in all that stuff, because it's that idea of breaking up the monotony of the day, right? So you kind of need to focus more on what you want to focus on instead of taking your 15 minutes, but thinking the whole time about the work that you've still got to get done, right? It's a hard thing to juggle, especially when you're at home, you know.
I don't get to play Monopoly during the day.
Well, you should try it. It's
isn't
a great
that what
time.
Isn't that what you
can
said?
do? Is just get Monopoly money and stick it in your wallet, and then you can pretend to play Monopoly throughout the day, though it might get you arrested if you use the wrong kind of money.
That would be awful monotonous. See, that's just me being a smart Alecalus. So
Not you. No, not you.
Well, you know how it goes. So
I think our sarcasmness is leaking through.
Yeah, it's starting to permeate the interwebs. So, but yeah, well, you guys did a fantastic job last time on the transmission. Every time I see you guys doing this, Jackie, you guys keep getting great guests, having great discussions, and trying to talk about some things that are pretty amazing. I can't tell you how proud I am and thankful that you let me come on and shoot and gab with you guys.
Yeah,
so
pretty cool.
Yeah, and that shirt is just as cool too, Kevin, with the chilling baby seal. Look at that.
Deal with it.
Seal with it. That's awesome. Have a picture of Seal.
The attitude.
That's what I was going to say. Is there needs to be a picture of Heidi Klum's husband, Seal, in the background too.
Seal with it. So, but yeah, so Clint, you're leaving on a vacation in a couple of days. What all has been changed that way? Was it pretty hard to get out of the town? Because I've been craving to go do something, but I don't know how.
Heard much. Nisha lined it up. She's everything's, all the rates are really cheap and everything.
Yeah.
So I guess it upgraded our resort and everything else.
Well, that's awesome.
That's way cool.
They test you for COVID down there.
Oh, so you don't have to do anything on this end?
I don't think so. We haven't gotten any information that we do. So
Where are you heading down to?
we're going to Cancun.
My folks just came back from there.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Yeah.
How did they like it?
I don't know. I just know that they got back. I haven't talked to them.
Yeah.
Well, I know that like our cousin went to Hawaii a month ago, and he had to do tests here, and then when he got there, and then to come back, he had to take a test too.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of just been wondering, because me and Jake were talking about maybe flying to, Florida or something and going to Disney World or doing something just to get out of town, but I don't know. It's kind of still spooky, and hard, right?
Mhm.
But,
Well, and I have an employee in Australia, and depending upon where you are, if you leave Australia and come back, there's a 14-day mandatory quarantine.
yeah. Our friend Neil went there because his dad was sick and he had to go stay 14 days before he could go out. He had to go and stay in a hotel room for 14 days. Then he went over. So,
And he has two little kids, a girl and a boy, and his wife lives in Hong Kong and works for the family business there.
oh, wow.
And so, usually around Christmas time or whatnot, they do a big thing where either she'd go to Australia or he'd take the kids to Hong Kong, and they just couldn't this year. I mean, literally, it's been an extended amount of time without them seeing their mom, because to go there, they would have a 14-day, like you'd literally have to take more than a month of vacation, and 28 days of that
Little kids in a hotel room.
would be
Just in a hotel.
quarantined on both ends.
Yeah.
You go there, you quarantine, then you spend time with family, then you come back, you quarantine, you spend and get back to life.
Man, maybe I should be worried.
No, I'm envious because I keep hearing reports that, we just broke the 500,000 mark in deaths, but they do say it's slowing down. I don't know. But just like with us, we haven't had anybody really close
Until now.
except until Ayame. Well, Uncle Ted at work, but but he all that happened to Uncle Ted is he lost the taste, and then that was it for like 2 days. But Ayame's been feeling like the flu. I don't know. I know her dad had it too, but
My older brother lost his sense of taste and smell when he got it as well.
Mhm.
yeah.
I have a bunch of friends who have gone through, who are doctors, nurses, and whatnot. They've gone through care and having to quarantine when they tested positive, or when there was a worry that they might. Had a number of friends who we actually have one friend who had multiple family members die
Oh man.
from COVID.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
And it's just been, it's like it affects everybody differently. It's just like cut through everything. It affects everybody differently. With new variations coming out, there's a change from how easily it spreads. For instance, the one from the UK is it spreads faster. Technically, as far as they know, the vaccine should protect against these variants as far as what they see.
Mhm.
However, you still have the problem of, one has potentially tougher symptoms, another one spreads faster, and it just changes.
Yeah, it's live.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, my team in Ireland was in a stage 5 lockdown, and will be
Stage
till
5.
May.
Wow, that sounds intense.
So you're not supposed to leave a 2-kilometer radius. Originally, it was 5 kilometers.
Holy
and
cow.
there was stage 4, 2-kilometer radius from your house. Now, understood. Like one of my employees lives out in West Cork. It's in the southern end of Ireland, and it is not anywhere near Cork, which is a fairly populous area. he's in the boonies. There's
Yeah.
nothing near him in 2 kilometers other than other people's houses. Maybe the pub, but because it's stage 5, the pubs are closed.
Irish boonies. That's a great.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, they've actually have businesses that in regions they're not. It's not Uber, it's not Grubhub. It's Grubhub for alcohol. They bring the pub to you. You know, this is business changing to face a changing world, right?
Yeah.
So
that's why karma is so important, is because it's business, it's economic. And that's just like with this, you know, you change for the changing world and finding ways to make being good profitable. I thought of this the other day. It was kind of fun. I said, until caring becomes our currency, karma is the next best thing. Because until we start making it to where being good people is what matters most, you know, we've got to outsmart the system. So if we find a way to pay people to be good, that I think that, you know, because why don't people do more charity? Well, I think it's because it doesn't pay to. I think it's because, you know, it only comes about when they have the means to. So if we use the capitalist system and being able to use economics to generate wealth, we'll use it to generate wealth by buying food, giving it away to people. And the more you help spread and build that idea, we're going to continue to give you more resources to do it. So it's, you know, like you're saying, just like a pub on wheels, which sounds so funny because, you know, you're not supposed to drink and drive, but we'll drive the drink into you. You know, there's your slogan. But, you know, just like that, a good pivot, a good way to look at how, you know, the market will always dictate what people need. And it's just finding creative and clever ways to compete and meet those needs. So, and one of the biggest needs we have right now is for good people to make their voices heard and come together and show everybody else how we can actually solve and address issues that are right now in front of our faces. So it's exciting, it's volatile, it's crazy. We've got trips with, you know, it's just this, the chaos of the 2020s is going to lead to great things, I think. So it's going to be the 2020s. That sounds weird.
So I'll put something in here.
Please do.
And it's kind of a side thing. So you guys know who Anonymous is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Well, not the person, because it isn't a person, the entity of the group Anonymous. Anonymous was right. Be a good person, but don't waste your time trying to prove it.
Yeah.
It's actually something I heard recently. There's a show on TV that my wife and I watch called Good Trouble, which is actually a state off of the recently deceased Senator John Lewis, who talked about getting into good trouble. He was in the civil rights movement and things like that. But anyway, it's a really interesting and diverse show. But there's this statement that was made in an episode we were watching last night about how Anonymous said, be good and don't waste time trying to prove it. You know, like, you don't have to prove to yourself, you don't have to prove to others that you're doing good. You just take the action. You just do it, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because as you know, when we talk about capitalism, and I'm not like just at its form, it's about building wealth. And the question is, who are we building wealth for? And who are we supporting in that process of building wealth? And I say that trying to be like, and I'm thinking right now, I'm considering what's happening in Texas, because we have a number of friends in Texas who were there, who've been there during everything. And
talking about the freeze.
Freeze, and people whose pipes busted. One of our friends, they filled their bathtub up with water so that they would have water during all of this. And in the middle of it, since they lost power and everything else, the water in their tub started to turn into ice slush.
Oh gosh.
So, you know, this is the stuff they're trying to like
survive on,
and survive on, flush toilets with, you know, things like necessities, right? I found out this morning that 2 of the people that I used to work with in Baylor College of Medicine passed away.
Oh no.
and I'll be honest, I didn't know them very well. I was very much tangential, but they lived, and I'll use the term again, they lived out in the boonies. They actually no longer live in Houston. They lived in a remote section, and they passed away from exposure and hypothermia. They didn't have access. They were older. But, you know, when we talk about capitalism being an engine, and that's what it is for karma, the question becomes like, we're using something to benefit people. And yes, we make a profit off of it. And this is how you keep it alive and spread it. But the result, the output, the product we have directly affects people who need
Yeah.
it. And you know, yet we see things about what's happening in product. And it come up today. It came up on my work chat, and they're talking about, and then just we have an off-topic area where we just chat about anything, and people are like, oh yeah, you know, what's going to happen, and the power companies are doing this, the power companies are doing that, and it's like, first, you have to take care of the people. Second, then get to the root of what the problem is and figure that out. But until the people are taken care of, the rest is a distraction. Does that make sense?
Sure, it does.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I don't know, like one of our good friends, she and her wife, pretty much they spend a lot of their time right now in a single room with their 3 dogs. Conservation of heat in the same room, and they finally got power, and they got their plumbing fixed. And it was one of those, you know, we found out their pipe in there, because unlike Utah, where a lot of the pipe is underneath, in Texas, you put a lot of stuff on just a flat slab.
Yeah.
So except for sewer, most everything is actually routed in the ceiling.
Mm.
So when a pipe breaks, it breaks in your ceiling.
Oh gosh.
So when you see the pictures of fans with icicles coming off of them, or in Dallas there was a hallway with that stuff, it's like, man, like that crap is real. And so people are working through this, and I've seen friends of mine, other people that I know who are working, you know, just our job first, our priority is to take care of people first. Then we got to figure out why this happened and address that. But that comes second. And the funny thing is one of our coworkers from California actually said, so the other analogy we've heard is you put out the fire first, and then you deal with fire prevention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I got 2 dogs fighting behind me, or just playing behind me.
Fighting like cats and dogs.
Dogs and dogs. Don't. Never mind. I get in the middle of it, and the other one like lifts its leg like it's gonna, and it's like, but mind you, they're both girls, so it doesn't work that way.
My dog already farted. He's just sitting.
Okay, how bad do your dog's farts get, Clint?
You know what? I don't really smell them, and I don't know if I just don't have a very good sense of smell or what my deal is. But
Are you getting COVID?
yeah.
Are you getting COVID? Sorry, not a funny thing.
The dog fart test.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Our two little dogs will climb in the bed with us at night, and when somebody farts, everybody's like, "Okay, who was it?"
Yeah. See, I wish I had a dog to blame them on. I just sit there and go, "Oh my god."
Rex blames it on the cats, but it doesn't quite carry as well.
But they're always at your house, so when I blame them on the cats from my house, it's it's a different story. Like, you cats. So, but yeah, I like what you were talking about there, Kevin, with business having some part. It's not a consumer based business. This isn't a business based on people consuming goods. It's based on us producing goods for people to consume.
Isn't
You
that
know,
interesting? It's a production-based business.
business, because the product that you buy is not for your consumption. It's a literal sacrifice. You're making an economic sacrifice in the form of food for other people. And that's how come people should and are entitled to some form of karmic return, is because if you are willing to take a sacrifice to help enable us as a community, as a society, to move forward, then you need more resources to help promote that, because those have been the heroes and the trendsetters of any generation that has ever come before us. And so the crazy part is, why haven't they put it into the economic system before? And I think it's because, it actually starts changing where it moves. The economic game is so powerful because it generates the wealth that all the other systems use to try to, hold everything together. So it's so powerful, but it needs to be put in proper direction, because power that's not pointed at a right social goal, an outcome, a moral objective, that can lead to chaos and craziness way faster than we want it to, because now you've got the power of money behind it.
And where do the costs of bad decisions go? And I'll try and keep like high level. 80 to 90% of Texas power comes from fossil fuels, because it's Texas, right? Oil, sure. Right? Oil country. I get it. Some of the rest is wind and solar. For people who say, well, that 10 to 20% of your power not working does not cause a collapse of the entire system. Yeah. Secondarily, and solar and wind work in below freezing temperatures, because they use wind power in the Antarctic to power the stations down there.
That is assuming that they are cared for properly.
Well, and yeah, you have to be cared for properly. And solar works because in freezing temperatures, because you have those panels on the International Space Station that work in negative 250 degrees Celsius, like 2 Kelvin. But when we talk about that, it's not just that, it's also the infrastructure. They're not built, the cabling and wires are used at a level that, that for the transmission of power, regardless of the source of power, they weren't rated for winter, because when that had been something in the past, it'd been a recommendation, not a requirement, right? And so what we do is we look at the problem. If we just want to like summarize that, it's simple. It's like the infrastructure was not up to a code that could handle severe weather events.
Yeah.
And that was by choice or for whatever. So now, because of that, some companies are saying, well, your kilowatt per hour could be $9,000, which is just, it's kind of hard to process that. Right, just because of the drain and the cost of the company and everything else.
What's a normal kilowatt?
It equates that, and normal kilowatts per hour, I think for us is in the cents per kilowatt hour. For instance, just for comparison, and one of the power companies, because Texas has a lot of different power companies, it's a deregulated infrastructure. And one of the questions to them was, how are you going to address these high bills to people? There's potentially high costs back to your customers. And they respond and they say, well, we recognize that a massive bill to a customer's monthly, a massive amount cost to a customer's monthly bill is untenable, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to figure out a way to spread the cost of that bill over the next 10 years. And the reality is when you actually have to think about that for a second, the question is, why is the user paying for the power company's failure to keep up to code And then, because relief is now 10 years of an extended bill payment
Yeah.
for a few days.
Yeah.
Anyway, and it isn't about corruption or anything else. It's simply about perspective. How do we look at this and understand that at the end of the day, we pay companies for a service, which is the difference. We pay into a company and provide a service, and we get a return on that, right? That's the expectation. That's just the honest expectation of karma. We get a return as part of the sharing that burden and the costs that go in and the returns that come in. Mm-hmm. This company, they sell a product. And if this had been a product company selling a car and the cars had faulted,
yeah,
if all of a sudden you bought a Tesla brand new and then it wouldn't work and it wouldn't run for you for 3,300, it's going to take more power for the next 300,000 miles or something like that. And they're like, well, yeah, what we'll do is we'll just change the cost so that you don't have as much to pay over the lifetime of a car. It's like, how does that work?
Yeah.
How does that serve people, and how do you hold to your quality as a business? So my question to you is, how do we hold to the quality of our business in karma?
How do we hold to the quality of it, as far as just making sure that we do our job every month and being that it's actually really simple. That the legwork of buying food, taking it to the food bank and labeling it is pretty fun and actually easy work. That it's not rocket science. I just go to the store, we buy it, we get it ready, we take it there. But the hardest part is talking to people and growing its influence. And so that's how come our job is actually really, really easy. As long as there's people that are talking and doing things, going and buying the food, doing our due diligence is something right now that we can, that is just like clockwork. But that's why we want to profit share and help everybody, is because it takes courage to go out and talk and do these things. And that's where, I have the hardest time expressing to people how much and how proud I am that they would even think to talk about it, because it's so different in the fact of how business has operated, but it is so in contact with our heart and what people feel that without having to even try, you can explain karma instantly. Yeah. But as soon as it's like, but wait a minute, now you're actually going to put it into economics, and it's like, yeah, that's it. And so it's that's the hardest due diligence, and that's why Jake doing this is the hardest part.
Actually, I think to better answer your question, the thing that keeps us honest, what keeps karma honest in what it does with its business, buying the food and getting it delivered, is the people that are involved in it, Kevin. It's the people like you and Ayame and Clint and the Olsen brothers and Carrie and everybody that's involved. They're the people that are there to help keep us honest, because that's the game that we're playing with you guys. You get involved, you sign up, and you help spread this idea. You spread this idea, and we're going to give you a karmic return. We're going to give you something back for playing into it. Now, what keeps us honest is if you ever feel like we're not doing our job, you can pick up and walk away. Yeah. You can go buy your food and invest somewhere else and do something different. That's
kind of where I was going with it.
I know you completely derailed. So let me finish.
I never derailed. Derailed.
So, but that's really what it is. The people that are involved keep us honest, because we're going to tell you every step of the way that you're going to be involved. And that's why we're profit sharing with you, is to show you that this is the entire purpose, is to make this something where we're all benefiting off of it. You guys invest in us and we invest in you. And
you're pointing us in a direction we're kind of focusing on just making sure that we help adjust and we're on course, but you're there with it. And I would actually say, Jake, that what you and Clint do with these and Ayami and all the guests that you've brought on is a great example, because every time you have one of these, you're bringing on people, whether or not they've been on before or not, and you're talking about ideas. And you get like Eric last time talking about, the principles of yoga and the things that he's done to kind of channel that into his work in karma. It shares a different perspective that I don't think a lot of people would really understand or really be focused on. And that's just, and I love that. So
that's the universality of it, is it's our idea, so any language can get the message across, because it's the golden rule. And I didn't derail. I gotta finish this now, because
you completely derailed. Everything
you
went this conversation went this way, Rexy went that way.
Because here's the thing. People could go buy the food and do it themselves. We've been asked that question. So our job, our due diligence is extremely easy. The real question is whenever they say that to us, well, why wouldn't I just go buy the food and take it there myself? The answer we always give them is, I don't know. Why don't you? And that's the key.
Right on the nose.
The job is extremely easy. That's how we keep our due diligence, is it's not rocket science, but acting on it consistently, devoting yourself to it, and then committing economically to do something that is creative, clever, and a new way to solve an age-old problem. That takes courage. That takes it, like people thinking outside the box. So the real hard work is on their end. But our due diligence is, like you just stated so well as well, Kevin. People like Jake and Clint and Ayame and Eric and you and me and everybody coming together to talk a little crazy, because that's how the world gets changed. So, see, Jake, it wasn't quite a deep, like,
if I hadn't brought you around, you never would have come back.
Oh,
you were so far gone in the weeds, it's not even funny. It's okay though. It's like fishing, I'll reel you in.
So considering that this is episode 22,
yeah,
I'll ask Clint, what's been the conversation that for you has been the most stimulating?
Ooh.
This one.
Good call.
That's age-old wisdom right there. I'm telling you. Perfect answer.
I would take that answer, because every time is new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is new.
Absolutely.
Everything is new, and I have a bad memory.
So
that works too. I was talking to a friend today that, like, I don't know when it was, but I just felt like when you feel like you're just old.
Oh man.
And your body's old and just won't catch up. Like, when did this happen?
Doesn't seem that long ago that you were a vampire for me,
Right?
And that's been like 6-7 years ago.
That doesn't seem that long ago.
I know.
Yet I feel a lot older than I felt then.
Oh,
it's mainly mental.
You've got a hell of a lot more awesome salt and pepper in that beard, though.
Yeah,
it looks cool.
It looks
pretty
good.
gray.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life where I was gonna dye salt and pepper dye my beard, because I thought it would make me look wiser.
Yeah, I'm hoping my eyebrows go too, so
get those all wizardy.
Yeah, I got to go full wizard when I'm old.
I've got the gray sprays coming in here.
Coming in.
Goatee. And I love it. I'll be honest, I love it. It looks wonderful.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's wisdom, but I always name them after my nephews. I'm like, that one's Ian, that one's Riley. When they're gray.
You have a lot of nephews then.
I know. You don't get me started.
So Jake, what about you? For these 22 episodes, what's been one of your funnest ones so far?
It's hard to say, because I've been in every single one of them, and it's a learning and growing experience. I really don't know. It's the best ones, I think, have been the ones where we've had just getting our agents on. In all reality, every episode to me has been really the best episode, because I get to spend time getting to know people that are involved in such a wonderful idea even more so. You know, getting to see some of the insights that each individual has, whether it's wanting to talk about yoga or grilling or Legos or pop heads or whatever the topic du jour for the night might be. It's so cool just getting to know everyone a little bit more and figuring out fun new ways of just engaging as people. You know, we've got such an incredible vehicle, and it's funny because kind of going back to you talking about beer delivery in Ireland and alcohol delivery in Ireland, right? Like it all comes down to, and Rex said it very eloquently, creative solutions to unique problems and wanting to put in a little bit of hustle, a little bit of effort. I mean, look at things like Uber Eats and all of this other stuff where we're giving people a chance to play in the economic game as a delivery driver for a restaurant. And all they are is acting as the middleman, and they're starting to play the game and start earning not only an income, but earning, you know, profits in some regards. And karma is really just an evolution of all those things, because it's all about getting into a pay to play system. And that's what we keep talking about every time with all these people, is a new way of getting into this pay to play system. And it makes every conversation so much more unique. So,
well, it's physics, you know.
Yeah, it's
action requires an action. So it's you know.
You bring up Uber Eats, and that reminds me. So it's interesting. I'll set up meals with my teams, and in Australia we use either Uber Eats or Deliveroo. Yeah, Deliveroo is also one we use in Ireland. They have very different experiences. So usually I'll just get Uber Eats cards for the team in Australia and Deliveroo. One of my guys in Australia doesn't live anywhere near one of the delivery locations. So I ended up getting him a gift card to the local grocery store, which is like high end. It's like a Harmon's kind of nice, great quality food and everything. His wife will go out and she'll grab him stuff with the gift card, and it's fun. But one of the things I was realizing here, DoorDash, and there's Postmates, and there's Toast, and there's Grubhub, and all this other stuff. And I've been using Grubhub for a long time, and recently just tried using DoorDash because they had access to a restaurant that I was interested in, and Grubhub didn't. So part of it is, where can you draw demand, build demand, find demand, deliver, etc. But one of the things I found out about DoorDash that absolutely fascinated me, because I was surprised other people didn't do it. DoorDash doesn't just have their own job. You know, everybody knows you can order food from DoorDash. What most people don't know is that a lot of the other systems, Toast, for instance, uses DoorDash's infrastructure and API to deliver on that. So they went from, hey, look, I can deliver this, to thinking, what's the next layer down? How do we dig deeper? How do we spread out more, gain more ground? And they built a system that now, and actually said it's nice. So if you have a great idea for a food delivery app or an alcohol delivery app, and you need the infrastructure but don't know how to build that, you can actually partner with DoorDash, and then, you know, you're paying them the fee, so it doesn't say, you know, Kevin's beer delivery service. Kevin's beer bus. There we go.
Get in trouble.
Kevin,
that's not legal in Utah.
I know, Kevin's beer bus by DoorDash. It doesn't have to say any of that.
Yeah, it just says your stuff, so that it looks like it's totally yours.
You went from being a service to actually generating the infrastructure and the platform.
He's not delivering beer.
Yeah. Just to be clear, I'm not delivering anything, which would technically be against the Utah legal system
legal stuff.
Yeah, stuff. Can't order, can't deliver, can't do anything fun in this.
I am also not a lawyer, so you can't take anything I say as legal advice.
Amen. None of us really are lawyers yet, but I do put it on when I rent a hotel. I say, you know, that I'm a something doctor usually, or something else. I don't know why. It just makes me feel like a big guy.
Rex Van der Linden, Esquire.
Yeah, I've done that a bunch, but
I'm waiting for him to call himself a duke.
No. Actually, that's something you need, Jake. either Jake or Clint, or maybe you just do that for each other, for each other's next birthday. Get the Scottish land title.
Ooh,
Make
yeah,
each other
you can
lords.
become an actual Duke.
Lords and
title holder.
ladies.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yes. It literally is. There's a minimum amount of land that you need to own in Scotland to.
And you can
earn
buy
this.
it?
And you can buy it. There's a service out there.
Well,
It's like you buy a meter by a meter, and you can then.
Yeah, you claim title and everything else to it, and then from there they just maintain it and stuff because it's all part of property management.
That's a great idea. That's fun. That's fantastic.
What's crazy is, I remember seeing on like a weird documentary that all of the landholders in like Ireland and Scotland and stuff like that, and people that own castles, they actually have to pay for and maintain all that for a standard of the crown. So like they have to spend exorbitant amounts of money just to keep it active, right? So this is an easy way for them to start getting that money, sell off little parcels of your land and maintain your status, but get other people to pay for it, because unless you've got a hell of a trust fund, you're not making anything. So
I should buy it, give it to Aome so I can say to her, if you are Scottish law, then I am Mickey Mouse. Remember that from Indiana Jones? Just so I can say that.
There's a tapestry hanging on it. Just
Tapestries.
one pole.
Yeah. So, speaking of, like we were talking earlier about feeling old and the jump, today I had a terrible experience with it because I hurt this shoulder really bad. It hurts, sharp pains in my arm if I lift that one up, because I fell in slow motion. I put a thing up over here and turned and started to fall backwards, but I like half caught myself. So I was doing this thing and falling. And then I reached back and grabbed something that I thought was stable and slowed down even more. Then it fell over. And so it literally took me like 45 seconds to fall over. And the whole time my dad was watching me. And he I fall, hurt my arm, and I'm getting up, and he's like, what the heck were you doing? He's like, it looked like you were having a stroke over there. And I'm like, no, I was just slow-mo falling. So, yeah.
Coolest 45 seconds in your last week.
Yeah.
And nobody caught it on video.
No, I didn't even hit the ground hard, but I'm so sore.
It just
everything hurts.
Didn't turn.
Yeah, so it's like how ridiculous is like slow-mo fall and injured for days. That's old age, kids. And once it happens, you'll be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Holy crap. It was pretty funny. And I'm glad Dad got to watch it because, he's relentless. He just picked on me for like a half an hour.
He's always good for a laugh.
Oh, man.
Of course.
My arm could be like cut off and he'd be like, let me give you a hand. And he's just the funniest guy in the world.
Yeah.
So,
he'd reach out holding your hand going here,
Yeah. Cause he's just that guy. So, but that's my old crippled story for the day. But yeah.
Where were you?
I was, so, in the warehouse where we sticker food for our Karma videos, everybody might even see this, right where I park the truck with the food in it. So in that corner is all those straps. Mm-hmm. And I was putting a strap away, and then there's like boxes on the ground there, Clint. Yeah. And that's what made me fall backwards. And so the thing that I caught was one of those banding units.
Oh, really?
Oh. Yeah, so I grabbed it and it stopped me for half a second. And I was like, okay. And then it tipped over with me. And I'm like, ah! So it was just a cartoon. It was ridiculous. So, but
that's the wrong way to do the backstroke.
Oh yeah. And literally this arm hurts on the bottom and this arm hurts on the top up here. And it just miserable. So, but
sorry that happened.
My arm,
yeah. But it's I'm gonna say wisdom comes with old age, but not stability. You know, that always, that goes out the window too. So
Trade-offs.
yeah.
It is. Well, and it goes to show you that, you know, we don't feel good every single day, but, you know, you still got to get out there and give it a try. And if you're not going to give it a try now, then when, right? Because before too long, you're going to be super lamed up and not have a chance to do any of it. So best to get acting fast, guys.
Yeah.
So, well, there you go. Well, Kevin, I got to ask you the question now. What has been your favorite thing that you've seen on what has been your favorite discussion on the karmic transmissions? I know
there was an early one with Eric. This is before Danny passed, and I just remember. I mean, there was a lot of discussion on a lot of topics similar to this one, but I think the thing that I loved is just the feeling of, you know, how do we do good? Why do we do, you know, how do we do more good? How do we grow? How do we expand this with good? Because that's really what it is. I mean, you grow the company, and it'll, like, for every new person we grow, we feed more people. And if there's no other reason to grow, is to do good.
Yeah.
And we can yes, people can make money doing karma, but they can do more than just that. They will get more than just that. That stuck with me. And I mean, to say that I know that isn't the only time that this has been discussed, and it probably won't be the last, but that you can make a profit, you can take care of people, but you can do so much more. And really, it's individual to each agent. You know what Jake is doing here with the karmic transmission, and I set the timer. I said this to Jake earlier today. When I set my timer today, I told her, yeah, send me a timer for 6:30 for karma transmission. And it says, okay, I'm setting you a timer for 6:30 p.m. for karma in the transmission. And I thought, how fitting is that?
Karma in the transmission. Yeah.
And it's just like, this is what we do. This is what you guys talk about. It's one of the reasons I enjoy this. You know, we have a lot of different minds here, a lot of different perspectives, walks of life. But the whole purpose behind this, well, not the whole, a singular purpose behind this is that we produce good.
Yeah.
I mean, we feed hungry people, but we produce good.
Yeah. Love. Yeah.
Kindness, caring, all of those things. If we had a prime directive, we were talking about prime directives from Star Trek, right? And if we had a prime directive, it's not that we don't want to interact with people, it's we want to interact and bring good. That's our prime directive, is we want to bring good. And couldn't have said it better, Kevin. That's a great way of putting it, man.
So I'm going to be a little bit snarky here because it came up in the last one, but you guys, Eric mentioned, I mean, he's like, I'm kind of uncomfortable with the term privilege, and I get why, and I've heard it from a lot of people. But for me, it's a good reminder that as a person who I am, I have a lot of privilege, and I actually get to do things that I don't have to think about, which isn't necessarily true for all people. But when I became a manager for international teams, I had to manage people not only who were thousands of miles away from me, but who were culturally very different than me and have very different needs and expectations and demands and experiences. And so on my laptop, as my background, so every day when I log in, my machine comes on, and on the background, it has a quote of the definition of privilege, which is, privilege is when you think something isn't a problem because it isn't a problem to you personally. If you've not gone through that, if you've not needed to be at a food bank before, you have a certain privilege because you've never had to consider that perspective before. You've never had to make some of the decisions that the people in line have had to make before. But what I love about karma is that is a point that's kind of outside. It's not outside of privilege, it's considering that.
Yeah.
We're considering what people, the hard decisions that some people are having to make, whether or not that's affecting their pocketbook, or it's affecting their ability to take care of their family, just their ability to survive. They're having to make hard decisions. And what we're trying to do is trying to make that decision a little easier, to have a little more dignity to it. And in that case, like, we question our own privilege by participating in karma. We remember and we try and take care of the people who are having an experience that we fortunately don't have to have right now. And it's a blessing. And honestly, walking in every day and seeing that on me allowed me to realize that when an Italian technician comes to me, he's really frustrated about something, that if I'm not getting it, I just need to sit back, take a second, and try and think about it from his perspective. It's a great way to understand empathy. But I love that about karma.
Yeah, that's very true. It gets back in touch with what we as people feel needs to come with privilege. Traditionally with privilege comes great responsibility and sacrifice. The hero gets special treatment. He gets privileges, but that's because he's expected to go out and fight the dragon when it shows up. And like you're saying, that's part and parcel exactly and built into what we do here. Is it's with that privilege comes great courage and great dignity, and people need to be rewarded and praised for it. But it's always good to remember and reflect and think that at any minute it can be me that has to go, and so it's something amazing. And that's why I'm so excited that everybody around me and everybody in karma that we talk to loves to, has understood and has decided that, just like in anything, if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. But if you can take care of yourself and have extra, it's not your, like, yeah, it's not, well, I was going to say it's not your duty. It's not your job, but it is your privilege to help. You should look at it that way and be like, wow, I've been blessed. Time to spread the blessings, because that's how the universe works. And that's the biggest thing with all of this that we do in karma and everything that we do. That why I think it resonates and hits so hard and is so universal is that in just the basic grand scheme of existence, we've got destruction and creation going on at the same exact time. And the fact that we're talking and streaming and doing anything means that the creation, the love side of it, is winning. So that should be our general motion, is to move in that way, because that's the way the river flows. That's the way the universe flows. So that's the way business, economics, and us as people should move, is in that way of caring, giving, growing, and nurturing each other. That's what makes us so special. So
goes right back to fight fires and then focus on fire prevention.
Yep,
that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Put your air mask on first, then help the other guy. So, But yeah, not me. It'd be like on airplane when they like start punching each other and steal it. So I love that movie. So.
Well, guys, it's been a lot of fun. Kevin, I as always, I like to give the main guest the last couple of minutes to say whatever they want. It's been a real pleasure having you on, man. You've had some wonderful topics. It's always great to see you. I'm glad that we got to see Kayleen too. But
definitely,
dude, also a great recap, man. That was a great way of looking back on 22 episodes with us. Thank you. So
I don't know. I mean, we keep doing what we're doing, right?
Yep.
And we keep looking out for each other. We keep talking about new ways to perceive karma, not just act on it, but how we see it and how we share it. What are we doing? And it's not everything about our life is karma. Well, maybe except for Rex, but the reality is the lessons of it stay with us. And honestly, when I talk about this stuff, and it's on my resume. If you go to LinkedIn, I actually have been a community impact agent for Karma Incarnate as part of
That's
my
awesome.
That's awesome.
and I have people ask me about it, and it's just like, well, this is karma.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I get strange looks because for whatever reason people didn't get it. Maybe I could do a better job explaining it. And then sometimes people just get it. It clicks, and that in and of itself is, how easy the message is.
Yeah.
I don't think people didn't understand it because I didn't necessarily explain it better. Maybe I could have, but I think some of us, I mean, we live in a world that is very much, they don't produce love, they produce products.
Yeah.
And that product, the use of that product is supposed to bring you love, and things don't bring you love. People do, and the things we do to take care of each other do. And that's the strength of karma. That's the strength of Karma Incarnate. But honestly, it's the strength of these meetings. It's the strength of gaining good karma. It's the strength of all the different ideas that we've done to
Spread
just
love.
spread the message, spread love.
Yeah.
So,
amen.
I love it, man.
I absolutely miss being able to come and sticker food with you guys.
Hopefully that'll change. Hopefully that'll change soon.
It will. It will.
It will.
We can be patient and.
How it hit pretty close to home because we had Ayame coming to. It was pretty much me, Jake, and Ayame at the sticker events, and now so that's
even trimming that back down.
Yeah.
And the truth is, to some extent, some people can avoid it.
Yeah.
In easier than others.
Yeah.
Well, I was sitting there thinking, for nationwide pandemic to go a whole year, that's pretty good. That and I'm not meaning that in a bad.
No, I get it.
That makes sense. Is that it's like 12 months. The bubonic plague going on to say like, hey, it's been happening for 12 months and I didn't get it. That it's. But I'm just saying that's.
You're not making light of other people's.
Oh no, not at all.
Misfortune. You're just saying, oh my goodness, when I think about this, I've gotten this far.
Yeah, and how long it's been, how fast it feels. It feels like it's just been a couple of months, but it's really been a year. So.
And the only reason you think it feels like it's been a couple of months because we've all lost our minds.
Yeah, no kidding. So
it's
too much work, not enough fun. And we know how that worked
we'll
out
get there
for Saucy Jack.
And we'll all find it in our own ways. At times I'll go out to nature just to get out. Sometimes I'll just go to the grocery store just to get out of that space. And it's different for everyone. And we need it. Let's be honest, in the same way that employees need to be able to take breaks from their work and remember to walk away from their desk and walk away from their desk at home as well. Yeah. And I'm horrible about that. Keelan gave me a hard time about it, and I deserve it. It's the same thing. We need to be able to break up the monotony. Yeah. And whether or not that means we're traveling. We have a friend who works for JetBlue. And she and her husband took their new like extra cool service. And she got tickets, and so they're like, okay, for Valentine's Day, we're gonna fly out to California airport, and then from there we're gonna find the cheapest flight we can to anywhere else in the U.S. and go out there, and then we'll come back and go. And it was just literally to enjoy the flights,
just
do something different, and it was really it was one of those daring moves, but it was also just to shake it up. I'll leave it with that. When I say shake it up, I mean, like, go to the latest episode of The Rookie. It's on Hulu. And at the very beginning, he's studying for a test, and his partner, his training officer, comes in and says, "Okay, you got to shake it up," and he literally shakes it out. You have to see it; it's hilarious.
The Rookie.
The Rookie.
Okay.
I like it.
With Nathan Fillion from Firefly.
Yeah,
He's good. I like him. He's a good actor.
Yeah. So.
Well, guys, it's been a fun one. There's number 22 in the bag. Thank you guys so much again for joining us on this Karmic transmission again. Special guest Kevin Steele, Rex still in for Ayame. Clint, as always, good to see you, brother.
Say hi again.
Good to see you, Kayleen. For those of you that are listening in, you can catch the recording on SoundCloud. You can also find the recording on YouTube. Don't forget to hit us up on Facebook at Karma Incarnate, YouTube at Karma Incarnate. On Twitter, you can find us at the Karmic Feed or at Ayame X Goddess. You can also find us through Gaming Good Karma. I am Karma. Kevin, what's yours? I can't remember.
Kev Steele.
Kev Steele Karma, something like that. Anyway.
Well, I will find it and I'll tell people. But Feeding Hunger.
Feeding Hunger. There it is. feedinghunger.karmaincarnate.com. That's Kevin Steele. So if you want to get a hold of him and find out his story, guys, we just want people to come out, get involved, and help us change the world a little bit. That's all that we're looking to do. So, but until next time, guys, I love all of you. Digital hugs, huh?
Thanks, Jake. You love you. I'm glad you have to say all that, not me.
See you guys.
Love you guys. Take care.
Thanks, Clint. Thanks, Jake. Thanks, Rex.
Love you.
Yeah.